Hi, I'm Kritter XD. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some Wheel of Time character details that got dropped on the Prime Video app maybe sometime today. I'm not exactly sure when. It's going to be a quick and dirty video. We're going to go through them, talk about them briefly, and then we're going to move on. I would remind you, though, that if you haven't yet supported the Entertainment Community Fund, you can help writers, actors, and other film and TV industry creatives and workers bridge the gap between paychecks during the strikes. A link to the Entertainment Community Fund is in the description of this video. Also, if you haven't subbed yet, please consider doing that. Okay, so we start with Moiraine. For 20 years, Moiraine sought the Dragon Reborn. After finding him to be Rand al'Thor, she led him to the Eye of the World to defeat the Dark One. The attack seemed successful, but Moiraine was cut off from the One Power in the battle. The question here being, is she stilled? Is she shielded? Is she permanently blocked from the One Power, or is there a knot somewhere in there that can be untied? That's the question. Lan and her are currently separated. They can't sense each other like they normally could, so the mystery remains alive. And then we have Rand. After learning he was the Dragon Reborn, the reincarnation of the most powerful channeler, Rand went to the Eye of the World to defeat the Dark One. After seemingly succeeding, he went into hiding to let everyone think he had died in order to protect those closest to him. So, interesting. Sounds like Moiraine is going to let everyone believe that Rand is dead, just like he asked, and it seems like he's going to end up at the beginning of the season in Cairhien. And then we have Lan. Nobody is closer to Moiraine than the stoic Lan, her first and only warder, and nobody knows more of her secrets. He has guarded her throughout their quest for the Dragon Reborn, willing to sacrifice his own life in the process. We've gotten hints that these two are going to be kind of on the outs, somewhat separated because their bond is, shielded, blocked, severed, whatever you want to call it. So I'm interested to see their interpersonal dynamic this season. Last season, they were the dynamic duo. They were my favorite pairing, I think, like on screen. This season, I don't know. Things could get dramatic. Then we have Egwen. Egwen couldn't have imagined she would have the ability to channel. She defended Fal Dara with the other female channelers, nearly burning herself out in the process. Believing Rand died at the Eye of the World, she travels to the White Tower to train as an Aes Sedai. So that's nothing new. We know that she's going to become a novice. This one is interesting. Perrin's guilt about being a monster has only been compounded by a strange affinity with wolves. He feels that there is a beast inside him, especially when he thinks of taking revenge on Padan Fain, the dark friend who brought the Trollocs to the Two Rivers. So Perrin being kind of compelled by this idea of revenge is interesting. It kind of leans into some things that happen in later books, The Shadow Rising specifically, and Fain, and it tracks. So instead of him blaming Fain for those things that happened in The Shadow Rising, I'm wondering if he's instead now going to blame Fain for Layla's death. That could be an interesting take and an interesting explanation for why they did what they did with Layla in season 1, because in the books, Perrin did not have a wife. And the fact that he feels like he's got a beast inside of him, that tracks the books also. So Nynaeve learned she was the most powerful female channeler in 1,000 years, with the ability to heal dozens of wounded people and fight back an army of Trollocs. Ever devoted to her friends, she followed Egwen to the White Tower despite her distrust of the Aes Sedai. So this is all very book accurate. Most powerful female channeler in 1,000 years? Check. Goes to the White Tower even though she hates Aes Sedai? Check. This is Nynaeve for you. Perfect textbook Nynaeve. So this is interesting. Matt has always battled inner demons. Even after Moiraine purged him of the Shatter Logoth dagger effects, he could feel it calling to him. Instead of joining his friends in Fal Dara, he goes to the White Tower to search for the dagger, only to find Liandrin waiting for him. So the question is this going to be a permanent thing where he feels the dagger, he wants the dagger? To me, that implies that the connection has not been entirely severed, and I wonder if it will be later. Or is this just a permanent effect? It's just a side effect. It's, the long COVID of having had the dagger before. And it will just always be a temptation, which could be just as compelling. And then we've got Moiraine sending a message to the Red Sisters to look out for Matt. Basically, it sounds like Liandrin is going to answer the call and capture him and, at least for a while, cage him. This Elaine one's pretty short. Daughter Erebandor and a novice Aes Sedai at the White Tower who becomes fast friends with Egwene. Can't wait to see this friendship. Can't wait to see Kiara do her thing and become Elaine. Liandrin, a sharp-tongued Aes Sedai of the Red Aja, Liandrin devoted her life to hunting down male channelers. She has no warder due to her distrust of men. She's also intrigued by Nynaeve once she learns this young wisdom is the most powerful female channeler in 1,000 years. So she was kind of trying to ease her way into Nynaeve's good graces in season 1, obviously not successfully. Sounds like she's gonna probably still be trying to do that in season 2. And we saw her training with Nynaeve in one of the trailers, so that checks out. Aviendha, highly skilled maiden of the spear, Aviendha is a faithful follower of Aiel tradition. She left the Aiel waste in search of the Kara Karn, the fabled chief of chiefs. Sounds exactly right. Book Aviendha to the T. This one is the crazy one to me. Selene, a fiery, independent woman working as an innkeeper in the Foregate, the poorest part of the wealthy city of Carian. She lives for the moment, forming a no-strings-attached relationship with Rand. First question, Rand, how long did it take you to move on from our girl, Egwen? It better have been months. I don't know what the time gap is. It sounds like it's going to be a 5-month time jump. And if you're already in a relationship with Selene at that 5-month mark, I'm going to need to know receipts. I'm going to need to know how long that took. I get the instinct of moving on because, you know, like everybody thinks you're dead, so that relationship is pretty much just over, but I'm gonna need like a little bit of time before you rebound, although the idea of Selene as a rebound brings me a lot of joy, so at least there's that. This one is also very interesting to me. Min, born a seer with the ability to glimpse someone's future, Min was forced by her aunties to become a carnival attraction until she escaped. She has traveled from city to city, bar to bar, avoiding attachments and the Aes Sedai, who either want to study or use her. Her aunts forced her to become a carnival attraction. I remember her relationship with her aunts being, they wanted me to be more feminine. I eventually left because of that, but I love them. This, they try to force her to become a carnival attraction. That is a darker past that I remember Min having. And I think that could make for a really interesting pairing with Matt, like if they become travel companions. Both of these like sort of haunted people in the same room, bouncing off of each other. I don't know. It could be pretty compelling. Making for good TV is what I'm saying. And Lady Sarah, the terrifying and merciless Seanchan noblewoman, seemingly in charge of the Seanchan attack of the Westlets. Seemingly in charge. I wonder that person behind her whispering sweet nothings in her ear. Maybe he's the one that's actually in charge. And Ishmael. We're not pretending he's the Dark One any longer. He is the strongest and most devoted of the Forsaken. Powerful channelers who swore themselves to the Dark 1000 of years ago and were imprisoned by the first dragon in Seals of the One Power. Ishmael is a master of deception. So that's interesting because in episode 8 of season 1, he is called, Lews Therin Telemann is called the Dragon Reborn, as if there was a dragon before him. This to me is suggesting Lews Therin Telemann was the first dragon, and maybe it's just like it's a tiny little breach in continuity. Maybe, you know, the lore people were like, no, don't call him the Dragon Reborn, you messed that up. Or there's something else, or this other dragon, the first dragon, was before Lews Therin Telemann. It's not anything that truly matters that much. It's just interesting that the show may deviate from its own self, right? Maybe there was a mistake in season 1 and they're correcting it in this description. And that's it. My favorite bit of information there, favorite and least favorite simultaneously, is the Selene news. This no strings attached relationship. They did age them up. They did mature them. Rand and Egwen were getting down in season 1, so there's no reason that Rand wouldn't also get down with Selene in season 2, but it's gonna ruffle some feathers. I bet you it will. That's gonna be it for me today. Thank you for watching. Please consider liking the video if you had a good time. Throw me a comment and let me know which revelation, which little tidbit was your favorite from these character descriptions. Subscriptions are always welcome, very much appreciated. Shares, all of it. I love you all. And also, I want to say thank you to my generous patrons and members. You guys are the best. I love having your support. And if you want to join this esteemed group of individuals, you can do so by getting on my Patreon or by becoming a member on YouTube. I hope you have a lovely rest of your night/day, whatever time it is while you're seeing this, and we'll see you next time. Bye.